It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
What's happening, everybody? It's showtime. Yes, Geno Jones showtime. New start time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 7:30 right now here in Charleston, South Carolina metro area, here in the Carolinas, up in New York City, Detroit City, Philly, D.C., down at Miami, MIA, Atlanta. Hello, Chicago, 6:30 right now, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's our new start time. Everybody from Minneapolis to Milwaukee to Chi-Town, St. Louis, Memphis, Little Rock down to Jackson, Mississippi. Shout out to New Orleans, everybody in Houston, Dallas, stand up Texas. Shout out to the Texas State Democrats. I'm standing with you, brothers and sisters. We're going to talk about that. As a matter of fact, I got somebody, the perfect person to talk about what these state representatives and state senators in Texas are doing. Because she was a state representative here in South Carolina, a regular guest part of the Geno Jones Show family. Live in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and everybody on the West Coast from Portland, Seattle, down to San Jose, Sacramento, Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area, San Jose, San Diego, the City of Angels, Los Angeles, 4:30 p.m. Tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Spread the word, everybody. Shoot a video for me. Do like a little video. Say, hey, I need you all to support Black-owned media, support the Geno Jones Show and Geno's Media Company, because I'm only about 100 new subscribers. So spread the word. Let's make it go viral. Call to action to everybody on social media. Just go to YouTube, subscribe. There's no paywall, so it doesn't cost anything. I don't charge for my subscriptions. You get this great content. But what happens in about 100 new subscribers, I will become officially a YouTube partner. That means my media company will get a check every month from YouTube. It is so important that we support Black-owned media. Speaking of support, we got a brand new sponsor. The Geno Jones Show welcomes Kojo LLC. Kojo, like C-O-J-O, LLC. Courtney Johnson. She's going to debut a new segment that we're going to be doing a couple times a month, at least a couple times a month, here on the Geno Jones Show, called Courtney's Corner. She's a real estate expert and an insurance expert. Just a brilliant sister and just really beautiful spirit and personality. Funny. So we're going to have a lot of fun. You will learn a lot. And you can ask questions and get answers. I have my live chat room. The show's interactive. Like right now, if you got a question, you got a comment, you want me to shout you out, you can join my mother, who is my #1 fan, my executive producer, in the chat room right now. And be sure to leave your comments in the comment section. Once again, the Geno Jones Show brought to you by Kojo LLC. Happy birthday to my dude. Happy birthday, Barry. You know, got a little game. I don't know if he can still, I don't know how his knees holding out. I don't know if he's still hooping. Back in the day, about 10 years ago, he'd get in the gym, had like a little lefty jumper, turned 64 today. Happy birthday to my forever president, Mr. President Barack Hussein Obama. Happy birthday, President Obama. I hope you have a great birthday. I know you and Michelle. I know Michelle and the girls. Sasha, Malia. I know they got you hooked up like some bootleg cable. Something nice for your birthday, my brother. We appreciate you. Listen, you changed a lot in the culture. Listen. You were not perfect. Your administration wasn't perfect. No scandals, though. No hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. Y'all ain't seen no pictures of Barack Obama nowhere near Jeffrey Epstein. Nowhere at all. None of those scandals like that. Scandal-free for 2 administrations. Wow. What I would give for us to return back to those days. It's a lot of debate now post-president. Well, he didn't do enough. He could have did more. But I don't think a lot of people, and I'm going to have that conversation. I'm going to get 2 sides here, but I don't think people really remember what he walked into, what President George W. handed him. Literally, the economy was on the abyss. Like when banks were failing, even Wall Street was like, the auto industry, literally, because old boy Mitt Romney said, let them go bankrupt. This dude saved the auto industry and saved the banks. Now, some folks upset saying that you didn't save enough homeowners, but that's a long conversation. Today is not the, this is not the episode, but we will have that conversation. But big shout out to President Barack Obama. Happy birthday, brother. The big 6'4", 6'4". All right, I'm going to bring my guest in. She's a former South Carolina state representative. She is an author. She's a social justice warrior. She's a mom. She's a spouse. Just a beautiful, brilliant sister, fearless. Even if she's not a Taurus, she got that same kind of energy. You know, we were just talking about it. We stay ready. We don't have to get ready. We stay ready. You can come with the foolishness if you want to, but you will be met with equal, not equal. You know, we will match and then exceed your energy to let you know. You don't want to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Miss Krystle Matthews. Hello, my sister. How are you?
Hello there. I am well. How are you?
Well, first of all, shout out to your braider. You
It's
got, I
me.
don't know, it's the sun,
I'm
your
my
lighting.
braider.
You got the skin is popping and everything, which you got your frames matching your fit.
Okay.
And then you got the braids. Just shout out to your braider.
I am my braider, Geno.
What? Get out of here. Oh wow. Okay. All right.
But thank you.
Yeah, because I'm like, please refer me, because Allie's about to get hers rebraided again. I'm trying to get a referral. I'm like, girl, give me I need the number to your braider. So, because Allie would be like, yeah, I like that look. So, well, cool. We'll get you. All right, so listen, let's kick it off. Here in South Carolina is the story that made national news. She's a South Carolina state representative. Her district is Mount Pleasant. So, because they redrew the lines, Krystle. They may have redrew those lines when you were in the state house.
Mm-hmm.
So her district encompasses what? Mount Pleasant, part of Charleston. We're talking about
hand. Yeah. So she's got a little bit of Berkeley, a little bit of Charleston, and Mount Pleasant. She's District 1. Okay. So if you Google who's my representative, it'll tell you everybody from the top of the card on down.
And basically, you could even, like whatever zip code you're in, if you don't know who your state representative is, or your state senator, or even in federal government, you can do a search, like a quick Google search or Chat GPT. Just type in your zip code, it'll pop up.
Yep.
So, because Joe Cunningham had that seat when President Obama, who's celebrating the birthday today, and then I guess they had to get him out. So the state. Now, correct me if I'm right, or correct me if I'm wrong. You were a sitting representative when that district with those boundaries were redrawn.
Correct. Yes, I was elected when the boundaries were redrawn. The process is very flawed in so many ways here in South Carolina. Different states do it different ways, which is why Texas is having the issues that they're having right now. And, Joe Cunningham was a line writer, right? He tried to play both sides of the coin and it didn't work out for him, which is how we got Nancy Mace. Now she's talking about running for governor and she's a whole hot mess. So the people in her own party don't even like her. But this is a great lesson for those who think that, oh, because I don't like them, I'm not going to vote for them. They talk about her like a dog behind her back. But as you can see, they still come out and vote for her. Yeah. So this is a great lesson in politics and how it really works for those who feel like they have to be in love with every candidate that they vote for.
That's a good point. So just give me your take. I'm sure you saw some or most, if not all. But so just, I'm Trump in heels. I'm like, really? This the energy you gonna run on?
So she's really not a Trump in heels as she wants to be, but she's more of a media whore, right? She wants anything that will bring attention to her and publicity to her. So she'll take whatever. I mean, you got to think, it doesn't get any lower than groveling at Trump's feet for his endorsement and only to not get it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So who has he supported anybody publicly yet?
He has supported some people publicly. I don't know the whole list, but she's not on it.
Yeah. Well, I would.
Yet
Now,
again, yet again, she's not on it.
yeah, because I was gonna say now this person was so Alan Wilson. What was he when you were in the state house as a rep?
Attorney General
That's
still.
what I thought he was. Okay,
Mhm.
so if I'm guessing you would know better than me, but I would think if anybody, even though the dude, one of the authors behind Project 2025, is also running.
Mhm.
Uh, what's his name again?
It's something
Paul Dan.
Dan.
Dance, yeah,
Yeah.
something. Uh,
He is running. South Carolina is in danger. We look at states like Texas and other places, but if we don't get it together, we are going to be in the same exact boat that they are in.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point because depending on who's but I want to just kudos to from Governor Governor Pritzker, Illinois,
Hmm.
where I was raised.
Illinois, New York, and
Gavin
California.
Newsom out in
Yep.
California. Kathy Hochul in New
Hmm.
York State. Uh, I'm not the biggest Gavin Newsom fan because you talk about a media whore.
Hmm.
He would be because whores can be male or female.
Yes, they
Yeah,
can. Sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad.
yeah.
But for those, do you want me or do you want to tell the people what's going on in Texas? For those who don't know why we are referencing Texas.
No, please, yeah, thank you, Krystle. We kind of set it up without setting it up informally, just
Yeah,
conversationally, but just tying it into like here in South Carolina.
right.
But the governor is basically trying to just throw all the rules out the window. But yeah, if you can kind of explain the detail so everybody can understand exactly, it's just a power grab, but you can give us more
Right.
details.
So it's gerrymandering on steroids. So the governor, they're trying to hold a special election to redraw districts, right? And when they redraw these districts, the way they plan to move the lines, because it's almost like anything else, right? Let's picture in your mind a map of houses, all the houses in the states where people live. They try to draw their map so that they get the most voters to outweigh Democratic voters for Republicans. So they're going to try and outdistrict 5 Democratic seats in this new map that they're doing. So just imagine you were cutting a pie. Let's say you don't like the crust, so you're going to pick the piece of the pie that has the least amount of crust because that's you want that part the most. That's what they're doing to their state. They're cutting it up, cutting the lines up so that they can get a winning vote out of districts that they would not normally win. And doing so, they would get rid of 5 Democratic House seats. Now, the big deal about this is that in Texas, you have to file this year for to be on the ballot for next year. Now, in South Carolina, it's next year. The filing doesn't open until March. So they're looking at this like we got to get this done because they want to make sure they can usher in the next Republican for the 2026 elections. They want to go ahead and um, take the slate. They want to be able to vote across the board and have all GOP representation, which would in act silence the voice of a lot of voters who don't necessarily agree with that. In Texas being a bordering state, as you all will know and see on the news, there's already a lot of controversy that goes on with this. And so the Texas lawmakers they left the state, they fled the state. There is in South Carolina, there is a law that the marshals will come and find you if we are in session and there's a certain rule that somebody can put forth. And once they vote it through, you have to be there. And if you're not there, they will come find you and bring you there. And so Texas has tried to do something similar with their Democrats because the Democrats left the state. They can't get a quorum, which means they can't hold session. So they can't hold session, which means they can't hold a vote. And this is the Democrats' way of fighting back to make sure that this doesn't happen where they're losing 5 seats because they don't have the votes to outvote them. This is a defense maneuver, and it's a good one. And luckily for them, they have governors in Democratic states such as California, Illinois, New York, who are saying, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to help you fight back. And if they go forward with this, we're going to do the same, and we're going to draw our lines toward Democrats. And I love it. I love fighting fire with fire, because Democrats for so long have chosen morality over power, and they've lost so much power that now they don't even have the votes to change or fight back things when they come. And so, hoping that this doesn't have to be a thing. I know there's been some talk about civil warrants and things like that, but they can't. Those are unenforceable across state lines because there was no actual law broken. So even if they do issue a civil warrant for their arrest, and they go to another state, it's probably going to be unenforceable because they haven't actually committed a crime to be transported back. So that's just a little bit.
Well, no. Thank you. That's excellent point. Because I can tell you, Governor Pritzker in Illinois ain't going to honor no civil warrant to allow somebody to come in and arrest whatever Democrats from Texas is in Illinois. And I know Gavin Newsom he would just, because the media whore that he is, he would just love that spectacle. I can see him standing right in front of like a bodyguard. Y'all Democrats, get behind me. You got to come to me, because that's just him. He's that dude. Now Kathy Hochul is a little more low key, but she's and a lot of people were surprised. She came out either today or yesterday on camera and said, "Listen, we got to fight our words. The words you and I, we got to fight fire with fire. We didn't start this fight. We don't want to do it this way. But damn it, if y'all want to do this, we can do this."
Yeah, and in case y'all haven't noticed, South Carolina is full of a bunch of followers. They love to follow. So when they see something happen in another state, they're like, oh, you know what? Let's do that here. And of course, it's also a media grab, right? You're going to know who brought it here because they're going to do an interview about it, right? They're going to let you know, hey, this was my idea. I thought we could do this here as well. So you have to be very conscientious of what's going on in other states when it comes to things like this, because copycatting is a very real thing in politics. Most of these people are not as smart as y'all give them credit for. They don't have an original thought to save their lives. I swear they're a bunch of just repeaters. So if you don't think that it won't happen, it just very well may. And it's going to be up to the voters who didn't show up and the voters who sat out to really get on the ball. When we talk about numbers, a lot of times we talk about the Black vote, but there's a large number of people who just don't vote at all because they feel like it's already fixed. They feel like there's no hope. They feel like it's the same old thing. And if you don't get people to run that gets them excited, you're going to end up with the same result all over again.
So I'm perfect segue. Great minds think alike, because that's where I wanted to segue. And you were speaking of finding candidates to get the people excited. But I want to reverse engineer this, Krystle. Help me craft a message, a conversation to where these political parties are delivery systems, okay? And their job is, this, your job was to deliver for the people that lived in your district. And you delivered for everybody, period. Who voted for you, who didn't vote for you, Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian American, Native American, none of that Christian, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, or agnostic, atheist, it didn't matter.
Right.
So I want to reverse engineer this, because what I want to get people to understand, two things. You got one party that, as flawed as it may be, still believe in some form of a representative democracy and fairness, humanity, empathy, decency, compassion, and wanting to, want everybody to be able to live good. This American dream bullshit. And then you got a cult that the people at the top, they have weaponized racism, hatred, bigotry in all of its forms, misogyny, sexism, homophobia, transphobia. They have weaponized all of this to pit us who are not the 1% billionaires against each other. So basically, they can rob people blind and take away all the money for the social programs for people to get health care, health insurance, and food assistance, free lunches, free breakfasts, support to go to college, housing support, housing vouchers, to give Elon Musk more than the $8 million a day he gets. Last Friday was the first. If you got paid and on your check stub, if you said FICA, some of that money went to Elon Musk.
Yep.
And now they want to get more. And what I've been saying, Krystle, is if you are, for this conversation, we talked about the Democratic Party. People complain about the Democratic Party. I say if there's one thing, and it's hard for me to say this, but if there's one thing that I have to give them credit, and it was with the evil intent, the evil, inhumane attempt that was driving it, that basically that whole force that's standing on white nationalism and the bigotry and hatred and misogyny and sexism, they literally took over a party and used it as a delivery system, and then had a 1,000-page blueprint on, once we get power, how we gonna really rig this thing. So for those who want to have a sense of humanity and decency, so everybody should be able to go see a doctor. No child should be hungry. I mean, elderly people should be able to afford to at least have a decent roof over their head and to be able to eat. Just basic stuff like that. So people that feel that way, take over the party. If you don't like who's in office now, if you think they are ineffective or whatever, then take it over. Find somebody that you believe in, get them to run, or maybe run yourself and get some people behind you. Krystle, you are a perfect example. So I want you to speak to that, because I want to help me empower the people, because the people have the power. The politicians, and Krystle will tell you, the politicians are not the leaders. Their job is to execute your needs. They are public servants. They are elected by you, either by your support or your non-voting, which means that you will empower people who don't have your best interests at heart. About 30% of this state is African Americans. There's so many untapped potential. So I'm trying to unlock that, but I want to focus on the people. And if the people really understand the power that they got, especially the millennials and Gen Zs, they could change this game overnight. So
I don't understand why Black folks have such a attachment to the Democratic Party. And I say that full well knowing exactly what's going on right now in America. But the reason why I say that is because you shouldn't be so attached to any party that you forget to follow your gut. And when I say that, it's like you see us doing the same things, and it's like, oh, well, I don't know anything else but being a Democrat, or I don't know it. But, really, if running as an independent wouldn't be so hard if the folks who didn't like either party would hold a meeting and say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and really start showing up in those spaces as if they were the Democrat or Republican Party. Debates, having your meetings, your monthly meetings, having your candidates that you're running, having your slate, having raising money for them, putting out signs, putting out postage, because this is not going to change by just gaining more Democrats. I hate to say that for those who really had a lot of hope in that. I just don't feel, I feel like it's going to take something a lot more drastic than that I advise candidates all the time, and not just Democratic candidates, but Republican candidates who also do not feel like the same thing, different side, right? They've been Republican all their lives. That's all they know, but may not agree with the ideology of what's going on right now. And I keep telling people, don't leave it to other people. You have to consume those roles in order to lead them where you want them to go. So don't leave it to other people. But there's another aspect of this that I want to talk about that many people don't even acknowledge. You can be white in America and never interact with an African American if you don't want to.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
possible. But the reverse is almost impossible, right?
Yes.
So when
absolutely.
they don't interact with us, or they don't know us, or get to know us, they only have what they think of us to go on. That is a big problem with a lot of these areas where you see these strongholds, because we have, as a people, have been taught to shy or back away from things that we don't like. And I really don't believe in that ideology. I wish that people would start taking back over the Republican Party. Honestly, Republicans started off being where Black folks were because of the end of, calling for the end of slavery. Now, albeit that it wasn't called for us. He just wanted to win the war. He didn't give a damn how.
Abraham
Lincoln,
Lincoln. You're right. Yes.
but Lincoln just wanted to win the war. He didn't care how he won it. He didn't give a damn. He was like, I need people. I need
Right.
bodies. I need black, brown, white. I need whatever color
Yes.
bodies they come in. I need all of them.
Yes.
And so Black folks was like, well, let's join the Republican Party. Okay, bet, no problem. But then somewhere along the lines, the ties changed, and now it's Democrats. But I need us to keep that lucid mindset that the switching can happen. If we can make billion dollar businesses, y'all mean to tell me we can't take over voting?
Okay, so I'm glad you went. So let's stop right there. So let's talk about this delivery system, because I like what I hear what you're saying, and because look, and I'm all good, because many countries they have multiple parties, but I'm looking at like where we are today, right here, right now, an existential crisis. The Republican Party that existed 20 years ago when I came to South Carolina, it don't even exist.
Nope, it's gone.
So once again, I'm gonna go back. I know, like I said, I know you not necessarily the biggest fans, or maybe the Democratic Party writ large, but
Well, it's for me, it's just the way they move. Um, so
okay, stop there.
let me say this. It's not about necessarily that so much as.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
So it's the same thing on different sides. Democrats will keep Democrats that they are prefer or are popular in office,
Yes.
even though they're ineffective, rather than letting them go, because for them it's somewhat of a popularity contest too. They put up the people that are in their little
Clicks.
club
I'm
cliques.
with you.
You know what I
I'm with
mean?
you.
So it's like y'all don't really want to win. Y'all just want to be important. Y'all want to put y'all clicks up.
So
I need people who want to win. What is it? Bamming by any means necessary.
Yes.
Like what we doing right now?
Malcolm said by any means necessary. But so Krystle, you are making my point for me, because like I said, you have one party that believes in some form of democracy and fairness. You have one party that still wants people to be able to go see a doctor, and to be able to, for children, if their parents are struggling, they can go to school and get a free breakfast or free lunch, or that can get food assistance. If they're working, especially in a state like South Carolina, they say right to work. I say right to work for free, because they don't want any unions. So at least you have one delivery system. My thing is, let's not look at it from even a party standpoint. Let's look at what's happening. You got a cult that is all about cruelty and inhumanity. And
Mhm.
you have one party that at least delivery system that believes in some level of humanity. Now, that delivery system that believes in humanity, flawed, cliquish, yes. Once again, who's got the power? These people that's in these cliques, they don't have the power. We
So,
could vote
so
they ass out. That is my point.
exactly, I am with you because listen, we have the Democratic Party has become, instead of it being the big tent party that it used to be, it's the party of issues now. It takes up every issue: LGBTQ, Black women, women, abortion. They focus so much on one particular issue that they go hard about. It makes them easy targets, honestly. We need to go back to being the big tent party. But I want to speak to something that you mentioned, which is access to medical care. When we talk about the cuts for Medicaid, we talk about the cuts for SNAP and things like that that people need. It's a very real thing. But remember now, a lot of the Republican Party's voters they're not necessarily critical thinkers or focused on a lot of foresight for what's to come, right? So when you have that, you don't have to worry about somebody really getting into the weeds on why you're doing something because they're not going to ask those questions. If it sounds good on the surface, they're going to go with it. Now, I want to say this for those who don't agree with what I am saying. I want you to understand that if you are a part of the faction that is saying, yes, we should cut these programs, and are they abused? Yes, but every program in America has been abused in some way, right? But if there are less Medicaid and Medicare dollars going to these hospitals and these doctors' offices, it will affect everybody. And let me tell you how, because I know you probably are wondering, well, I have private insurance and how is it going to affect me? Well, money is money. So if that money is not coming into these practices or into these hospitals that takes, millions of dollars to run, that's still a loss. The type of loss it is the type, but it's still at the end of the day, it doesn't leave them in the black. And so what that does is it'll make a lot of medical facilities and doctors' offices close down. They won't be able to sustain because the consortium of the people they see mixed with private insurance, is what covers them. So if they don't have those monies coming into their practice, it's still going to be a loss of dollars. And when that happens and they start closing up and they start leaving, it's going to be harder for you to get an appointment. Right now, you already on average have to wait 2-3 months to get a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment if it's not an emergency. And so if you think that is bad, imagine what's going to happen if these offices start closing down. If the rural communities are already struggling for medical help, urgent cares and hospitals and things like that. So if you think it's already bad, it'll be even more exacerbated. And when you talk about your emergency rooms and the amount of people who are going in there,
That's
those times will just get worse. Everything is going to climb because you are drastically changing a system and removing dollars that have been put into the system. And so if you think that it's just going to affect those who are poor or who are on that system, and when I shouldn't even say poor because you can be $100 over and not qualify and be barely making it, or you can be $100 under and qualify and be at the top of that chain. So don't think that everybody on these programs are drastically poor or drastically rich or abusing the system or lazy and not trying to find a job, or because you can be very close to whatever the threshold is on either side. You can be $100 over or $100 under, and that's a yes or a no. So when you talk about being aware of what's happening in your state, in your county, and you're talking about voting for these things, you have to be aware of the domino effect that it's going to bring. If you have children who no longer have Medicaid, and they don't have the shots to go to school, right? Because in South Carolina, there's certain shots for certain ages and certain grades that you can go do. Now, health departments used to do shots, but I think health departments are starting to phase out as a thing as far as those activities here. I know in the low country, in South Carolina. So, are their parents going to be able to pay to go to an urgent care to get their shots for school as you can now? And these urgent cares do accept Medicaid. So when you talk about taking a lot of this stuff away, now you're talking about your kids going to school with other kids who may not have some of these vaccines or have some of these things that they need to stave off, the spread of disease and things like that. It becomes a very big domino effect. And that's not even with us talking about the elderly community who have worked their whole life for a social security that is limited, that is not sufficient, that is not efficient, that they can't rely on. And if they have family, they're lucky, because if you don't have family that is left, let's say you didn't come from a family with 15 kids, maybe your mom only had two, you and your sibling, and maybe your sibling passed away from something earlier and now it's just you. Those are the things that we have to be cognizant of when we're talking about cutting these healthcare programs. Our elderly people are just as vulnerable as our babies. We return to the ashes from which we came, and that is a very true statement, because as they get older, the quality of life, when I ask foreigners what they don't like most about America, a lot of times they say how we treat our elderly. We just kind of throw them away and leave them to die. And so that's something to think about if you're talking about hospice care, if you're talking about a nursing home, things like that. You won't be able to, you think homelessness is bad now. When these folks get thrown out and the system is overweighted, what then?
Krystle Matthews, you so eloquently said it in such a beautiful, eloquent way. You making my points for me. And we great minds think alike. You have the humanity and the compassion and empathy and morality and decency, but you got the receipts and the knowledge too. So I want us to have an ongoing conversation. At least I want to try to get you at least once a month, because we got to beat this drum, because when and I've said this before, even for you MAGA haters, because I know some of y'all hate watch with your red hat on, and it's all good, and I don't give a damn what you call me. But when your grandmother gets kicked out of a nursing home, or that nursing home closes down, and you don't have room for in your home, or she loses her health insurance, she can't get her chemo treatment, her dialysis treatment, that surgery that she needed, whatever it is, the medicine that she needs for heart disease, hypertension, cholesterol. Your child is on Medicaid. I think 40% of the children in America get some form of Medicaid that's got asthma, juvenile diabetes, maybe a heart condition, epilepsy, some kind of birth defect. When your child can't go to see a doctor, and they get a fever, a spike of fever, or 105, and they die at home because you didn't have money to take them to a doctor, and the emergency room, even though by law they're not supposed to turn folks away, they like, nope, we can't. See, when it knocks on your door, when it's your grandparent that you lose, or your mother, or your father, or your child, or your niece, it's gonna hit different.
Yeah, and cherry picking charity, it's a thing, particularly in white communities. Cherry picking charity, they like to say, oh, well, we don't want to have programs where people live off us for free, but then they have endless mission trips through their churches that go overseas and do charity work, which is it's cherry picking charity. I
Wow.
mean, you talk about feeding the
Say
homeless on Thanksgiving, feeding the homeless on Christmas. Oh, but that's something that's glamorous. That's a glamorous type of charity. So when we talk about cherry picking charity, that's one of the things that people don't think about when you're doing back to school giveaways and back to school. Well, um, if your ideology is that you don't want to help people who should be helping themselves, then I need to understand why you're cherry picking which charity you decide to give to. You don't want student loans paid off, but you don't mind big companies like Amazon and banks being uh, um, helped out by the government. When they got bailed out by the government, and your only comeback is, well, they employ lots of people. Well, if people aren't in school debt, then they can spend more money out in commerce. They can buy houses. They can do a lot more things. They can travel, create those travel dollars. Cities like Asheville that rely heavily on tourism and things like that, they have more money and flexibility to do that, as well as starting their own businesses and practices, which boost economies. So it's a two-part system. But anyway, I'll cherry picking charities is a whole nother
I
topic
love
for
that
me.
phrase, Krystle. I never heard that phrase that way, but like I said, so you upset maybe with a elderly grandmother or grandfather that worked all their life that gets Social Security or that gets Medicaid and Medicare, but you okay with a dude that just got a $29 billion stock package from Tesla,
Yep.
but still got $8 million today and will get $8 million tomorrow and will get $8 million every day this week and every day that we are live of your money and my money.
Yep.
Elon Musk, taxpayer money that kept Tesla afloat because the government saved Tesla and Starlink from going under. And actually,
Yeah.
you had I think Barack was in one time when
Yep.
basically Tesla
The
was going to go under.
government has done a lot of bailing out, and if we're going to do anything, we need to make sure people can get an affordable wage. I mean, the government picks up the tab for a lot of employees that work for businesses who don't pay or offer them the benefits they need to sustain. But these businesses are woefully profitable every year, and that's again a whole nother topic. I do have to run, but Geno, as always, it's been a pleasure. Anytime you need me, you can just call me.
Well, listen, like I said, we'll iron it out. We'll pick at least once or twice a month because I want to pick up on this economic conversation that we're having. That'll be our theme unless something else crazy breaks out because that is so important between healthcare and economics. Because first, if you don't have your health, you can't even make any money. But even if
Yeah,
you
and
got
and overseas you can buy antibiotics out the pharmacy without a doctor's prescription, and here they try to make you go to a doctor or a lawyer for everything. So anyway,
we'll have a great conversation. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you. Enjoy your evening. That's Krystle Matthews. That's my people. She is brilliant, as you all see, and I just thank her for coming on. But I've been having that conversation about the humanity that we have to see our humanity in each other. And you got a cult. It's not even a political party. It's a cult, and the cult members are being taken advantage of. The cult leaders don't give a shit about the cult members. The cult members are using fear and all this hatred and everything so they can continue to dig in their pockets and take money that they need to live, money so they can go see a doctor, so they can have enough food to eat, at least till the end of the month, so their kids who may need a free breakfast or free lunch, or their kids can get money so they can go to college, can get grants, Pell Grants, they can get housing assistance, because rents are just going up and up and up and up. Mine just went up. So we're going to have that conversation. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Please leave your comments in the comment section right here. And remember, when I'm on live, the show is interactive. If you got a question or comment, jump into your chat room. Thank you to Mary Dixon, my mother. Thank you, Mother. Happy birthday, President Barack Obama. The Geno Jones Show has a new sponsor. I welcome Kojo LLC, C-O-J-O. Kojo LLC, Courtney Johnson. She will debut a brand new segment on the show this Thursday called Courtney's Corner. She's a real estate expert and an insurance expert, so you can get questions asked or you can get questions answered. You can ask questions about just real estate, purchasing a home, selling a home, residential, commercial, just information about insurance. So she's a wealth of knowledge and just fun and just a brilliant sister. So I'm looking forward to. So thank you. The Geno Jones Show brought to you by Kojo LLC. Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time is my new start time. So make sure you spread the word to subscribe to my channel. Only need about 100 new subscribers for me or my show and my media company to become a YouTube partner. That means that every month YouTube will send my media company a check and get that YouTube bag. It's so important that we support Black-owned media. Nobody is going to tell our story. Nobody can tell your story. Nobody can tell your story better than you. And nobody's going to tell it right anyway. They're going to spin it and tell your story to make them look good and to make you look bad. So it's so important that we support Black-owned media and platforms like mine. So if you would like to contribute, if you'd like to make a financial contribution or offer a financial gift to support the show and the message and what we're doing here on the Geno Jones Show, you can Zelle or Cash App your gift or your donation contribution. You can Zelle, use my email address, genojonesshow@gmail, genojonesshow@gmail, or you can Cash App. You can do it right now. $Dad G Jones. It's all one word. $Dad G Jones. Capital $, capital D, lowercase a, lowercase d, capital G, capital J, lowercase o, n, lowercase e, lowercase s, $Dad G Jones. All right, Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, on IG, Kelby Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP, or Designer Cuts. You can find them here in the Charleston, South Carolina Metro. They got an app. You can download the app and make an appointment. Whatever you need, Markel Bailey and the crew, the team at Designer Cuts, they got you. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show, CEO of LX.NCL_. LX.NCL_. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you live Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, a new edition of the Geno Jones Show. Once again, thank you to former South Carolina State Representative and author Krystle Matthews, and I will see you live. If you missed any of this episode, go back and binge watch, copy and paste the link, tag, share everybody, leave your comments in the comment section, tell everybody to subscribe to the show, to the channel, and please support the show financially by Cash App or Zelle. Cash App, $Dad G Jones, or Geno Jones Show @gmail. If you want to Zelle, use my email address. We'll see you Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll holla.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.